Advaitam Tvam Sajivam Shadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sadhana Dalita Sri Vishakhan Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaurabhakta Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaurabhakta Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaurabhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
हरे कृष्णा संकर्षण प्रभु जी
प्रभु जी हरे कृष्णा प्रभु
हरे
दंड
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी प्लीज एक्सेप्ट my humble obeisances. Hare Krishna dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. We welcome all of you for the today's morning program Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. And today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Sankarshan Prabhu, and he will enlighten us on Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 8th chapter, and text 26. Over to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
प्रभु हरे कृष्ण प्रभु दंड प्रणाम सो प्रभु इज माय ऑडियो एंड वीडियो इज ओके प्रभु
Yes, Prabhuji. Audio is clear. Video is a bit blur, maybe.
वीडियो इज
Prabhuji, I think. Maybe if you turn the camera, it should have been good. Okay, I think desk should be there. So it's okay, Prabhuji. You can continue.
okay yeah so hare krishna so thank you so much devotees for joining today's session so I would like to welcome everyone please accept my humble obeisances so let me share the screen prabhu
Yes, Prabhuji.
let me know prabhu if you are able to see the screen
We can see, Prabhuji.
you are able to see it prabhu
Yes, Prabhuji.
okay Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Canto 5, Chapter 8, text number 26. Yeah, so this shloka is a little prose kind of. So I will just read it. एवं अघतमान मनोरथाकुल हृदयो मृगदारक दारका भासेन स्वारब्ध कर्मणा योगारंभनतो विभ्रंशितस योगतापसो भगवदाराधन लक्षणाच्च कथम् इतरत जात्यंतरयेन पुनक आसंग साक्षान् निःश्रेयसा प्रतिपक्षतया प्राक् परित्यक्ता दुस्त्यज हृदयाभिजातस्य तस्यैवम् अंतराय विहत योगारंभनस्य रादर्शे भरतस्य तावन् मृगार्भक पोषण पालन प्रीणन लालना अनुस अनुषंगेन विगणतया आत्मानम् अहिरिवाकु विलं दुरतिक्रम काल कराल रभस अपा आपद्यत word to word meaning. Evam, in that way, aghatamana, impossible to be achieved, manaradha, by desires which are like mental chariots, akula, aggrieved, hridaya, whose heart, mrigadaraka abhasena, resembling the son of a deer, swa arabdha karmana, by the bad results of his unseen fruitive actions, yoga arambhanataha, from the activities of yoga performances, vibhramshitaha, fallen down, saha, he, Maharaj Bharata, yoga tapasaha, executing the activities of mystic yoga and austerities, Bhagavat Aradhana Lakshana, from the activities of devotional service rendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Cha, and Katham, how, Itaratha, else, Jatyantare, belonging to a different species of life, Yena Punake, to the body of a deer calf, Asangaha, so much affectionate attachment, Sakshat, directly, Nishreyasaha, to achieve the ultimate goal of life, Pratipakshataya, with the quality of being an obstacle, Prak, who previously, Parityakta, given up, Dustyaja, although very difficult to give up, Hridaya Abhijatasya, his sons born of his own heart, Tasya, of him, Evam, thus, Antaraya, by that obstacle, Vihata, obstructed, Yoga Arambhanasya, whose path of executing the mystic yoga practices, Raja Rishehe, of the great saintly king, Bharatasya, of Maharaj Bharata, Tavat, in that way, Mriga Arbhakaha, the son of a deer, Poshana, in maintaining, Palana, in protecting, Prinana, in making happy, Lalana, in fondling, Anusangena, by constant absorption, Aviganataya, Aviganayataha, neglecting, Atmanam, his own soul, Ahi Iva, like a serpent, Akubilam, the whole of a mouse, Duratikramaha, unsurpassable, Kalaha, ultimate death, Karala, terrible, Rabhasa, having speed, Apadyataha, arrived. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Sukadeva Goswami continued, my dear king, in this way, Bharat Maharaj was overwhelmed by an uncontrollable desire, which was manifest in the form of a deer. Due to the fruitive results of his past deeds, he fell down from mystic yoga, austerity, and worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If it were not due to his past fruitive activities, how could he have been attracted to the deer after giving up the association of his own son and family, considering them stumbling blocks on the path of spiritual life? How could he show such uncontrollable affection for a deer? This was definitely due to his past karma. The king was so engrossed in petting and maintaining the deer that he fell down from his spiritual activities. In due course of time, insurmountable death, which is compared to a venomous snake that enters the hole created by a mouse situated itself before him. Purport. As will be seen in the later verses, Bharat Maharaj at the time of death would be forced to accept the body of a deer due to his attraction for the deer. In this regard, a question may be raised. How can a devotee be affected by his past misconduct and vicious activities? In Brahma Samhita 5.54, it is said, Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam. For those engaged in devotional service, bhakti bhajana, the results of past misdeeds are indemnified. According to this, Bharat Maharaj could not be punished for his past misdeeds. The conclusion must be that Bharat Maharaj purposefully became over addicted to the deer and neglected his spiritual advancement. To immediately rectify his mistake, for a short time, he was awarded the body of a deer. This was just to increase his desire for mature devotional service. Although Bharat Maharaj was awarded the body of an animal, he did not forget what had previously happened due to his purposeful mistake. He was very anxious to get out of his dear body, and this indicates that his affection for devotional service was intensified. So much so that he was quickly to attain perfection in a Brahmana body in the next life. It is with this conviction that we declare in our Back to Godhead magazine that devotees like the Goswamis living in Vrindavan who purposely committed some sinful activities are born in the bodies of dogs, monkeys, and tortoises in that holy land. Thus, they take on these lower life forms for a short while, and after they give up those animal bodies, they are again promoted to the spiritual world. Such punishment is only for a short period and it is not due to past karma. It may appear to be due to past karma, but it is offered to rectify the devotee and bring him to pure devotional service. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Gnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katha-mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Ushakhan Vitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitimami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratushin He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaurav Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Guru Shri Hare Krishna. So I would like to welcome all the devotees for today's morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. So I would like to seek blessings of all the Vaishnavas assembled here, so that I do a service in a mode of a humble servant for my own purification and for the pleasure of the Vaishnavas. So, so this chapter is about Bharat Maharaj, the activities of Bharat Maharaj, and then how he's actually the process of how he became the deer. So how he's got attached to the deer, and then eventually he took up the deer. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions that yam yam vapi smaran bhava tyajatyante kalevaram tam tumeva iti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. Means whatever the thing that one remembers at the time of death, the same being one becomes in the next life. So here, Bharat Maharaj, he is not an ordinary person. The whole tract of land, which was named like Ajanabha Varsha, later when he start ruling it, the whole tract of land is actually getting called Bharata Varsha, because he was ruling in such an exemplary manner. He's such a ideal king. He's a Rajarshi. He's not just a Raja, he's Rajarshi. So that is why the whole tract of land was called Bharata Varsha. And he ruled the earth, whole land, for thousands of years. And because he was doing it in the mood of a devotional service, he developed the two benefits, two byproducts, that is Jnana and Vairagya, when he was when he was a king, life of a king. So it is mentioned that he left all of them behind very easily. So in one of the shlokas in Bhagavatam, it's mentioned that like a malavat, the word comes malavat. Malam means stool. When somebody goes to the passing stool, he doesn't look back. He just flushes it and then he comes out of it. Like that, he renounced the very, very difficult things to giving up. That is he's in the prime of his youth, and then his wife, children, the whole emperor, the kingship, everything. He just left it like that because of what? For attaining Krishna. He has that intense greed, that lalasa was there. Because of that, he could give it up very easily. So he developed such a vairagya, and then he's in the forest, he's meditating, and he reached to such a level of devotional service that he is almost having the tears of ecstasy. It is mentioned that he is almost on the level of bhav. So he's actually reached such a high platform. But suddenly there was some incident happened, due to which he's got madly attracted, madly attached to the deer, a small deer. He left everything and then he's got attached. Now, one may wonder how come. Here Sukadeva Goswami was telling, he has got attached because of his past fruitive activities. Now, Prabhupada, he was telling quite opposite thing in the purport. In the translation, we are seeing, even in the shloka also, you can see that it is because of his past fruitive results, past fruitive actions. But in the purport, Prabhupada was telling that it is because he purposefully committed. That's what Prabhupada says in the purport, because he purposefully became over-attached. So Prabhupada was telling that if you see in the Brahma Samhita, it is said that Yastvindra Gopa Matavendra Mahosva Karma Bandhanu Rupa Falabhajana Matanu Karmani Nirdhati Kintu Cha Bhakti Bhaja Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhaja. Means This in this world, actually everybody, whatever they are going through, either it's a so-called enjoyment or the suffering, it is happening because of his one's own reaction, one's own thing. It is not because of anybody else. It is only because of yes, Tvindra Gopa, Mathavendra Ahosva Karma. The Indra Gopa is a small insect, and Indra is a heavenly king. So from Indra to Indra Gopa, whatever one is going through, it's all because of Ahosva Karma, my own reaction. That is why one suffers in this world. So this karma, actually, I was hearing one of the lectures of senior devotees. He's telling karma is very intricate. I mean, one cannot blame anybody for one's own suffering. So it is like saying that if you leave one calf in a herd of 1 lakh cows, the calf will go exactly to that cow only. That is how karma works. Because the karma is actually karmana daiva netrena. It is actually on the order of Krishna. Mother Durga Devi is actually very explicitly, very minute details also karma works. An example Prabhuji was giving, that there was one Brahmana. He was doing all his Brahmanical activities in his ashram. One day, what happened? There is one cow that was running out of fear to the ashram. So it went inside. The Brahmana was looking, and after 5 minutes, there was one butcher who was actually following that cow. So this butcher asked this Brahmana, "Where is this cow?" Then this Brahmana was in dilemma whether should I tell truth or not tell, because Brahmana means he has to always tell the truth. But if I tell the truth, this cow will be killed. So he was in a dilemma. So after some deliberation, he showed his hand inside the ashram. That the cow went inside. That is how he showed his hand. Then the butcher went inside. He brought the cow out. He killed the cow in front of him. So next life, what happened was this Brahmana again became a Brahmana because he has told the truth, because he has followed the Brahmanical principle. He has got the Brahmana body only. So one time he was traveling in the village. It almost like became like a sunset, 6:30 or 7 o'clock, very dark. Then he went into one house and he told that today let me rest outside on that veranda there. Let me rest outside, and then tomorrow I will go on my way. They said okay. That lady said okay. So what happened was this. So this Brahmana started resting, and the mid of the night, that lady came out, and the lady was she actually insisted this Brahmana that let's enjoy. That's what she was insisting. So this Brahmana told, no, 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 how can you are the wife of somebody else? So Chanakya Pandit says, Matravat Paradareshu Paradravyeshu Lostrava Atmavat Sarva Bhuteshu Yah Pashyati Sapanditaha. Somebody who is very of character, who is very of learned man, he considers others' wife as one's own mother. Others' property to be like a dustbin that he does not, nobody puts the dustbin by intentionally, nobody puts it. Somebody treats others as he wanted to treat himself. He wanted to be treated. So that is the person. So he told that this lady that I cannot enjoy because you are the wife of the other person. How can I enjoy like that? He's told. But this lady was in such a passion that she went inside and she took a chaku, that knife she took, and then she murdered her husband. And that she because when he was being murdered, a lot of cries, a lot of sound was coming. This Brahmana went inside, so she dropped the knife there and she went backside of the house, and he came, and in the darkness he has taken that knife by chance, and by the time he took the knife, all the village people she called, and then everybody assembled there. So now this everybody thought that this Brahmana, and that wife was telling the same thing. He has killed my husband so that he can enjoy me like that. So this wife, the village people finally, after some deliberation, they've actually decided that okay, this Brahmana is very qualified, but at the same time he has done such very heinous thing. So as a punishment, we will just cut off his hand. That's what they've decided. Okay, so they've actually cut off his hand with which he murdered, not but they thought. And then this Brahmana actually was in pain. He went back to his house and then he was contemplating why, why this is happening to me. Because that time he's got this remembrance in the previous life what he has done for that cow. Now, the cow who was killed before, the cow became that lady who killed her husband. Her husband was the butcher in the previous life. So the butcher killed the cow and the lady killed the husband. So that account is clear. This Brahmana, he became Brahmana because he told the truth. That account is clear. This Brahmana showed his hand to the cow, due to which the cow is killed. That because of that, his hand got cut off. So all accounts are clear, correct? So, so he was telling, the Prabhuji was telling that this minute detail, the karma works. What exactly you do, that much will come up. That is how the karma works. But here Prabhupada is telling that, okay, there is a karma is there, but when somebody does the intense bhakti, then what happens? Karmani nirdahati kintucha bhakti bhajam. The entire, all the fruitive results, everything is destroyed, just like a grass. If you just put a fire onto the grass, the whole grass, dry grass will be like that. But here, Prabhupada is telling he has done purposefully. Means, I was hearing a short talk from Chaitanya Prabhu. He's telling that how come Bharat Maharaj on such a stage would fall down? So he's telling that every jiva is awarded with a free will. Now, Sukadeva Goswami is telling because of his past misdeed, he has done it. So has he done by force? No, he has not done by force. But what has happened was, because of the past, some of the fruits which were lying in a seed format, those actually created that atmosphere wherein he was vulnerable. Okay, so the past misdeeds create such atmosphere when somebody is vulnerable, it is almost sure that he is going to act in such a way, such particular way. But still the free will is there that he can choose not to. Correct? But here, Bharat Maharaj had every chance that here to correct himself, but he purposefully did it. That is also because of one reason, is because of his nature. I was hearing that because he was a Kshatriya means the protection is all in his blood. All through the years, it is in his blood to protect. So when he saw the deer, who was in a very helpless manner, that small deer, he thought that there is nobody else there to take care. So I have to take care. So in the purport, in the translation, he was doing lalana, prinana, poshana, palana, everything he was doing for the deer. He became like the mother, father, everything. Okay, so like that he became so attached, so much so that when he's doing yagna, he's keeping that deer on the lap. When he's resting, he's keeping the deer on his chest. When he's going to the bath, he's taking the deer along with him. So like that, in every activity, in one of the words Prabhupada mentions here, you see anusang something, it's told that, right? What is that? Anusanga, he's telling that. Means what? This one. Anusangena. Anusangena means what? He was having the constant absorption in this deer. So much so that at one time he thought that actually he was justifying taking care of the deer. That, it is actually, how can I give up the taking care of this deer at the cost of my own? He's thinking, that taking care of the deer is of more important than this one, my own spiritual duties. That is when the problem happened. Why? Because we all know there are three things very, very important in devotee's life. What is that? That is Nama Ruchi, Jivadaya, Vaishnava Seva, and then Jivadaya. Correct? So one should have a taste for the spiritual life, Nama Ruchi, for the chanting of the holy names, glorifying Krishna. One should serve the Vaishnavas in a mode of a humble servant, and then one should show the compassion to the Jiva. So in the case of Bharat Maharaj, what's happening? He was doing the Jiva Daya, but he was not having the Vaishnava Seva and Namaruchi. He was not attentive for his spiritual practice, and then there were no association. That is the reason there is no scope for the Vaishnava Seva. Correct. So sometimes we may think that let me go away and then do my own thing, do my own devotional service. But that's Prabhupada tells, Bhaktivinoda Thakur tells, that is insane. If somebody thinks that I can become Krishna consciousness alone, then he is just insane. Means actually it is not possible. In Kali Yuga, what is the strength is actually the Sangha. It is said that Kalau Sangha Shakti, something it is told. Means when somebody is in association, then actually he is developed that strength. Otherwise, actually, it is just a matter of time that one actually loses the taste. So in Kali Yuga, that is why it is told. What is that? Yagnai Sankirtana Praya Yajantehi Sumedasaha. So Japa means what? Japa means personal chanting. Kirtan means what? Loud chanting, personal. Sankirtan means what? Samyak Kirtan means coming together and performing the devotional service, which Prachetas, all the Vaishnavas they are doing. So this is the essence in the Kali Yuga, But Bharat Maharaj is not in Kali Yuga, but the association is very, very important. It is not that association is required only in the Kali Yuga. Association is required every time, because that is Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita what? Matchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayantah Paraspara Kadhayam Tushyaman Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. How come devotees can forego all the pleasures of the world? Because they are getting a very, very high pleasure in the association. And in the association, what they are doing? They are just hearing Matchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayantah Paraspara. They are just conversing about whom? Not about the elections or about politics or about this one or that one. No, they're actually conversing about Krishna. They're actually conversing about services, all these things. When somebody does this thing, in that association, the real rasa will come. The rasa of the Krishna consciousness, that will be there in the association. And so that is why the association is very important, not just in Kali Yuga and everywhere. So unfortunately, Bharat Maharaj, had not have that association, due to which he became excessively attached. In a very short period of time, he became overly attached. And then it is just like I was hearing another example. Prabhuji is telling that just like say if two of the friends they go for the trekking, they go for a mountain trekking or something. So by one friend got slipped, and then he was in between. He was almost falling onto the valley, but there is one tree he was just holding on that. So the friend who is at the top of the mountain, in order to rescue his friend, what he has done, he has seen one tree which is very strongly grounded. He put that rope around the tree, and then he put another side of the rope onto his waist, and then he jumped, and then he safely landed his friend back to his mount. So here he is doing Jivadaya, correct? Jivadaya, he is actually helping his friend, but he was actually strongly connected to the tree, which is like association, correct? So he's actually, so Vaishnava, he's actually connected to the Vaishnavas also, right? So that is how he's done it. Not just Vaishnavas, he's actually, see, sometimes you tie the rope to the tree, but because of a lot of force of the gravitation, when he's forced down, the tree itself may be uprooted, correct now? But the tree has to be firmly grounded. Means what? We have to take shelter of those Vaishnavas who are strongly grounded, who are actually not bewildered. No, that kind of Vaishnavas, if somebody takes shelter, then he is very safe. So that is safeguarding is actually is there because one has taken that kind of shelter of the Vaishnavas. And then Namaruchi, yes. So, so this is very important. The same thing, I was hearing how being in the association is very, very important. It was actually demonstrated by Krishna himself when they were in the ashram of Sandipani Muni along with Sudama. When he went one day to collect the forest wood, the firewood in the forest, so much of excessive rain, but one hand they both were taking that wood, firewood, but the other hand they were actually uh, holding each other's hand. This shows that we have to do the service to the Guru's mission, to the Guru's mission. At the same time, we have to be always in touch with the Vaishnava. We have to be always in association. So the problem here, Bharat Maharaj, was there was no association. Who will tell them that Bharat Maharaj, you are going little off track, so please come back. But somehow this happened. And then what happened in the due course of time, the insurmountable death that happened. So this is actually it is told in this sloka. The death is moving to all of us with a terrible speed. It is actually so much speed. There is one person who is awaiting us, that is death only. It's always at the back only. That is what it is said, that people sometimes, they want to do time pass. Correct. Now if there is some gap is there, they will go here and there and do some time pass. But because they are not aware that there is someone who is actually chasing after them with a terrible speed. What is that? That is death. That is why Bhagavatam tells, for every rising and setting of a sun, every person is actually one step closer to death. Bhagavatam tells, except that person who uses his day in the service of Krishna, developing his love for Krishna. Except that person, everybody else is going towards that same death. Okay, so but here, because of the Prabhupada's mercy, we got this knowledge, and then we are trying to develop love for Krishna by hearing about Krishna, by rendering service to Krishna and devotees. We are trying to do that. So here, so Prabhupada is telling that the conclusion must be that Bharat Maharaj purposefully became over addicted to the deer and neglected his spiritual advancement. To immediately rectify his mistake, for a short time, he was awarded the body of a deer. So now, why? So there is another perspective also to see this pastime. Not just this pastime, any of the pastime in Bhagavatam. So one of the lectures Maharaj was telling that in the Bhagavatam, whatever the pastime that comes in Bhagavatam, there are two ways to look at it. One is an internal reason, one is an external reason. So internal reason, just like Jaya and Vijaya falling down from the Vaikuntha. So they are the eternal associates of the Lord, constant associates of the Lord. Then how come they fall down? Because the internal reason is Lord wanted to enjoy the chivalry rasa. That is the internal reason. External reason they fall because they offended the Chatuskumaras. So that is why that is the external reason they fall. But there is an internal reason also, because these are the people who are not like ordinary people. See, Prabhupada gives this example that when a mother-in-law who want to teach daughter-in-law who came recently to the house, she doesn't scold the daughter-in-law, correct, directly. She scolds the daughter that you should do like this. But the daughter has been doing that from so many years. The daughter knew perfectly what to be done. But still the mother-in-law, the intelligent mother-in-law, she scolds the daughter only, so the daughter-in-law will learn the lesson. Correct. So similarly, when Lord want to show some lesson to the world, the Lord want to make some statement, then he picks up those people who are very, very near to him. Just like Lord picked Arjuna. Arjuna is called Gudakesha. Gudakesha means what? He is the conqueror of the sleep. Not just sleep, he is conqueror of the ignorance also, because he is in constant association. We all know that pastime. From the body of Arjuna, the names of Krishna are coming. When he sleeps, when he is in sleeping, the body is actually emanating the words of the names of Krishna. So advanced. But why was he put in that situation wherein he was actually scolded, he was actually criticized? Why? Because Lord wanted to make a lesson for all of us how to actually lead a life. So similarly, here, Bharat Maharaj, Prabhupada gives another example also, that the wrestler, the king actually appoints a wrestler to fight with him. Correct. So the wrestler, he puts his entire strength. Sometimes he defeats the king also. But that doesn't mean that, he becomes the king. No, that he's always a paid employee on the king. Out of for his satisfaction, he puts that person. So like that, similarly, Lord appoints a jiva for to be an instrument for his own leela and for the betterment of all of the people. Like Lord Shiva, Lord Shiva, Mahadev, he is called Dhira Purusha. Dhira Purusha means what? He is undisturbed. No matter whatever the thing is there, he is undisturbed. Sometimes, I think Mother Parvati has touched the genital, but still he was undisturbed. But the same Lord Shiva, he was becoming mad for running after Mohini Murti. Why? Because Lord wanted to show a lesson that, even if you are on the platform of Shiva, the attachment to the woman, attachment to the opposite sex can degrade a person anyway, like that. No, there is a lesson was there. But we know the internal reason. Lord chose Shiva so that, he wanted to make a point. And we know the Lord Shiva also, because Lord Shiva always wants to glorify the Lord, that, so he is actually very much joyful to glorify the Lord by making himself very low. The one such pastime is Banasuras fighting with Krishna, correct? So he wanted to, he's actually, there was a great fight between Lord Shiva and Lord Krishna, but Lord Shiva is doing for what? Because to glorify Krishna, like that. So the activities of the devotees are to be understood from, two different angles. One is the external reason, the lesson for all of us. What is the lesson from Bharat Maharaj's pastime? That one should be very, very careful. This is, even on the platform of bhava, one can fall down. In the sense, there is a small, little deviation, little thing is there. There is this one is there. There is just like a boat which is sailing in an ocean, a small hole in the boat. The water may creep in. It may not be immediate effect, but eventually the boat will sink if that is not rectified. So similarly, one has to be very, very careful in bhakti, so that that is why it is told Nasta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. Means what? Prayeshu means what? It is almost taken out. Not that it is completely 100% taken. That small thing is always there. So even like, if there is a person who is deceased, he has taken a medicine and then he became healthy, but there is a convalescent stage, means he is not completely diseased, he is not completely healthy. There is an in-between phase also. So in-between phase, not that he committed all these things and goes back to, he actually have to be very, very careful. So unless one comes to the platform of love of Krishna, one should be very, very extremely careful. That is the message that, this is. And another message is always be in association of Vaishnavas. And all association means what? Association means to actually open the heart and seek the guidance. That is association, correct? So not that, Bhakti Thakur tells, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, somebody tells that, not that staying in a same room or dining together or going to yatra together, that is association. No, association actually means to derive inspiration for spiritual life, to actually open the heart, ask the questions, get the answers, to derive the actual inspiration for progressing in Krishna consciousness is the association, correct? So that is the thing. But then we may tell that, this is actually a preaching mission. So we have to actually go to the non-devote, we have to actually go to the outside world, so-called non-devotees or potential devotees. We have to associate with them. Then the Prabhupada tells this analogy in the Panchatantra, that, there was a crocodile who actually invited monkey for his home, correct? So on the way, the monkey asked in the river, in the lake, monkey asked, why are you taking me home? The crocodile tells that my wife wanted to have a heart of a monkey. It's like that. So that this monkey tells, no, you should have told me before only. I have kept my heart in the tree. So he intelligently he escaped. Correct. So Prabhupada gives this example that one should not give heart to the non-devotees. What does it mean? That means that one should not trust the non-devotees like anything, so much so that he opens the heart. Because whatever the solutions the non-devotees may give, it is always in the mood of enjoying one. How one can enjoy. It is not in the accordance with how the Lord enjoys, how it is actually helping the devotional service. No, their criteria is how am I going to enjoy. That is so based on all these things. So that is why one should never give the heart to the non-devotees. Okay, so one has to give the heart to the devotees only. So it is said that respect everyone. Uh, open the heart to few one, and then follow one person adherently. Yeah, like that. So I think so. It is not that we may open the heart to everyone. It is not possible actually. But at least there should be one person whom we should be willing to open the heart, so that, and then one person whom we should be taking, strong guidance. So here, Bharat Maharaj was lacking that, and so he became what next life a deer. But this deer is not an ordinary deer also. This deer having the full consciousness of the Bharat Maharaj. This is actually Neha Vikramana Shosti principle, that whatever you do in this life, it is not destroyed. It is going to be carried to the next life. It is such a hope-giving statement, correct? So in this life, we do so many things, but everything is going to be doomed at the time of death, which is inevitable. It is going to come up at any time. So that is why an intelligent person invests actually in a very, very, what is actually very, very important. There is one story I would just tell in a short story, that one time one person, he was actually traveling in the ocean, and then somehow he reached one island. Okay, he reached an island, and as soon as he got down from the island, there was a lot of tribal people who were coming, and then they actually took this person in a palanquin. Palanquin means it's a big, not palanquin, it a big king's this one and all this. What is that procession kind of thing? They were all telling Jai Jai Jai, and then they were all taking him to the main court where they all will assemble, and then put him in the king's position. Correct? So this person was wondering, Are, I am a stranger, I just came, and these people are giving me so much respect, so much this thing. So they were all serving him very nicely. So one day he asked one of the leaders there, how come I'm a stranger and you're all giving me so much respect and so much thing? And where was your previous king? He was asking. So this leader told that, see, we had a policy. What is that policy? We will choose one person for about 2 years as a king. Okay. And then we will serve him so much. And after 2 years, we will take him to one no man's land. That is the island where nobody is there, no resources are there, nothing is there. And then we'll just leave him there and then come out. That is the policy. That means he asked, is the king died? That means, yes, he died already. So this person, he immediately taken it back. So my position is also like that after 2 years. Yes, like Maharaj said. Then this person is intelligent. So he thought, okay, now whatever I tell, these people is going to listen up until next 1.5 2 years. So what I will do, I will send half of my team, half of my people to that island. I will instruct him to create all the facilities in that no man's land, that a person can peacefully live there. So he sent half of his men there, and then instructed him, just create a beautiful city there, beautiful resources, beautiful facilities, everything there, like that he told. And then at the end of the second year, they left him in that island where he was living peacefully and then happily. So this is the man of intelligence, right? So here we know that at the time of death, if we don't utilize properly, we are going to degrade into this one, because the animal's life, it is actually very, very painful. They always live in fear. Although we may say, sometimes people foolishly think that, let me become like a bird and then fly, let me become like that peacock and then do dance, all these things. Those are good in the Goloka. Those are good in spiritual world, not in the material world. In the material world, every animal is in fear. But out of that, if somebody gets a human body, it is so very rare. Shastras tells that there is innumerable shlokas tells that Durlabham Manusham Jannam Tadapi Adhravam Arthadam. After attaining this human life, if somebody is utilizing this for just for eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, he is just an what is that? Agna, Atmagna, Atmaha, Atmagna. He is killing his own self, just like a person who is actually very poor. He is actually hitting with a stone that nuts. So and he is putting some 10 rupees or 20 rupees. He is earning from that every day. So one billionaire, he has seen pity on his, became pity on his, and he has given that one diamond, one rare diamond to him. And then this person, he left off, that billionaire. So this person, he was using the diamond to crush the nuts. He doesn't know the value of the diamond. So he is just crushing the nuts and then selling for 10 rupees, 20 rupees and earning it. How foolish it is, and all. So similarly, if somebody gets a human body, what is the only difference is, one lecture Maharaj is telling that this human body is billions and trillions of times more valuable than the diamond. So why? Because with this one human life, one can get rid of all the cycles of birth and death at one shot, one go. But if somebody is using this human life for just the same thing of ahara, nidra, bhayamaitunamcha, he is to be considered a murkha, he is to be considered a fool. So here Prabhupada is telling that, yeah, so we come back. Yeah, so the deer is actually a very special deer, and then he's got all these remembrance, and he immediately rushed to that ashrama, Pulastya Muni ashrama, something, wherein he again continued that thing. So, and then he became Jadabharata. We all know that story, how he was completely self-realized. Yeah. So, so this is actually from the internal point of view, Lord actually chooses this person. Lord actually, it's a short slip. It is a very short trip they go just to give a lesson for all the world, that how one should be very very careful. One cannot give an excuse that okay, I am falling down. Bharat Maharaj also fall down. What's so something to regret about it? No, Bharat Maharaj has fallen down on the instruction actually, because Lord has chosen this person to be shown. But ordinary person, because we can very evident that the deer has got all the consciousness of the word, that itself shows that Lord was very much favoring him. But not that we commit an offense and then we will expect the same kind of thing. No, it may take millions of lifetimes to come back also. So that is why it has to be, see, the devotion is not lost. Whatever one is done, that is not lost. But for the time being, when somebody does the offenses, that is gone. Means just like I have an amount in the account, but I forgot the password. So what is the use of that? No, nothing. I have a room which is full of wealth, but I have lost the key to that room. What is the use? Like that, we have got the devotion. The devotion is still intact, but the thing is that is not accessible at the point of time when somebody commits the offenses. So that is why one should be very, very careful. And then here at the end, Prabhupada is telling that on this statement, on this strength of this statement, we written in the Back to Godhead magazine that whatever the animals that we see in Vrindavan, like monkeys, dogs, and turtles, and hawks. Actually, Prabhupada in the BTG magazine, he writes hawks also. All the hawks and everything, that whatever we see, those are all not ordinary people, for sure, actually, because they have the very thing that they have taken birth in the holy dham, where the Lord is doing eternal pastimes. It is not an ordinary thing. So, so he's telling about Goswamis, not our Goswamis, the Shad Goswamis. They have not done any sinful activities, but the Goswamis of some caste Goswamis, like in some of the some of the priests who are in some temples, whose caste is basically Goswamis. Most of them are actually very very advanced also, but sometimes due to their purposeful mistakes and all, they will be given the body of a lower animals in the Vrindavan, so that they can rectify and then come back. Okay, so that is offered. That is actually the mercy of Krishna. That is what is offered to rectify the devotee and bring him back to the pure devotional service. So the internal reason is obviously Lord want to show a lesson, and then external reason we all know, how much the association is very very important, and how much one should be very very attentive and careful. You know, the goal should be very very clear. The If the goal is not clear, then the mind will be disturbed. The mind is disturbed only because, see, if you put a goal, the mind will be calm, but if you don't put a goal, mind will always be disturbed. So Prabhupada has mercifully given that goal, to all of us. And then if we keep hearing Bhagavatam every day, if we keep trying to implement whatever we hear, then that goal will be solidified, so much so that even the full storm, full tsunami of the people who are telling there is no Krishna, but you will not believe them. Why? Because you are always in connection with Krishna. That becomes another reality only. Right? So no matter how many people tries whatever the things, you will never budge. But that's what Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita also. Apuryamanam achala pratishtam means, just like the ocean that will never be disturbed. Similarly, a devotee who has developed that taste, he will not even budge an inch from his devotional service, no matter what happens. So that is how, that is a process actually. So Prabhu, I think it's 8:10, Prabhu. I will stop here. So again, once again, I would like to seek prayers and blessings of Vaishnavas, so that I will become sincere and then serve the Vaishnavas and develop the qualities that we have been talking, we have been discussing. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, please.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, with the very wonderful and instructive class. Like you started with MMOP, this whoever whatever one remembers at the time of death, they will get that body. And here you are given the example. And also, like you mentioned, that Bharata Maharaj was such a Rajarshi that with the ruling itself, he developed the Gnana and Vairagya. So, because of that, he left everything in his prime youth, and he developed Vairagya. So, he went to the forest to practice devotional service. So, then he mentioned, then how come that much Vairagya he has, but he got attached to a deer? So then there Prabhupada mentioned that like he purposefully committed offenses. Then karma is very intricate. You mentioned like karmana daiva netrana. So you gave a very nice example that calf can find the mother even in the herd of like cows. So and you gave the nice example of Brahmana, then a cow and with the hunter. So how then in the next life, like how the Brahmana committed mistake in this life, and then how come he, I mean, again, he became Brahmana and cow became wife and under husband. Then he gave a very nice example how the karma worked there. Then all fruitive past deeds are destroyed by bhakti. Then how come here? So Bharata Maharaj committed because he is always at the bhava stage. So then they mentioned that the past visa which was there and it got rectified by providing the favorable environment for that where the ignorant becomes vulnerable and still he has the free will to use, but everybody has the free will, so it is usually like in the way bija got rectified. Then you mentioned like in the bhakti three things are very important: jivadaya, namaruchi, jivadaya, and vaishnava seva. So how Bharata Maharaj did not have vaishnava seva, no association. So association is very important. As Bharata was not having association, so he got overly attached to deer. Get attached to the devotees. You mentioned like get attached to the devotees who are strongly grounded. With the example of one friend saving another friend. So you want to save somebody, then you have to be firmly grounded. Otherwise, you will be susceptible. So Krishna in Sadhipana Muni, there also gave the example of important of association and serving Guru. Like with one hand they are holding the firewood, and with the other hand they are holding the other devotees. So that how the Vaishnava Seva and association is very important. And so he gave a very nice instruction that death is always awaiting for us. So Srimad Bhagavatam says that with every rising on setting of sun, so one is one step closer to that death. So nobody can escape. And here, like you are giving the examples that how Krishna chooses, like how come like Bharata Maharaj fall down there? You mentioned the internal reason is that Krishna wanted to choose somebody to teach us a lesson. So there you mentioned Arjuna was chosen to teach Bhagavad Gita, and Jaya and Vijaya getting the curse by Kumaras so that Krishna can have the Veera Rasa with them. And Bharata Maharaj also he was chosen so that we need to be very careful in bhakti, like to teach the lesson of being careful in bhakti. And Shiva and getting attracted to the Mohini Murti. So everyone is always needs to be careful because everybody is vulnerable to the opposite gender. So there are all these things like Krishna wanted to teach us. So he chooses his own devotees. So one should not give heart to the non-devotees, as non-devotees always in sense enjoyment, so we get carried away. So we have to be very careful. And there you mentioned that associate with everyone, open heart to very few, and follow one sincere Vaishnava. And then you gave with a nice example of king having the king for 2 years, and then after that he gets dropped in the no man's land. How the that king intelligently thought and prepared his after 2 years. What I mean, feature. I mean, like all the facilities. So similarly, you gave example. I mean, with this example, you told that this human body is very valuable, and if you don't use it properly, so like it is utterly waste. And this is the body we got so that we can get rid of the cycle of Janma Mrityu cycle. But then if you use the only for the Ahara Nidra Bhaya Maitunam like sense enjoyment, so it's the like no use or no like it will be degrade. And we should not think that Bharata Maharaj fall down. So what if I fall down? So that is not the mode we should learn. So we should see that like Bharata Maharaj immediately came back within one life. But for us, like we don't know how many millions of lifetimes it will take. So we should not take. We have to take the lesson, and then we have to be very careful in practicing bhakti. And devotees, whatever one does mistakes, like you when talking about the dogs, cats, all these things in the Vrindavana. So they are the ones who are the devotees earlier, but they have done the mistakes. So they got the chance again in the Holy Dham to rectify their previous mistakes and then get upliftment. So mind is very calm when we have a goal. Otherwise, like mind distracts us very much. So you mentioned like we have to be very careful in practicing bhakti, and we should have the clear goal of bhakti in our mind when practicing. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for the wonderful and nectarian, and also very much lot of instructions here. So devotees are already unmuted. Devotees can unmute and ask any questions. Hare Krishna. So there are comments, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much for explaining how karma works. Reason may be internal and external ways with ultimate illustrations. Mitra Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. Thanks for the enlightening class with best examples.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. Thanks for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Prabhu, you said they took lower births for rectification. How to understand that, Prabhu? How will they get rectified?
Sorry, Mataji, I didn't. How will they get
You
rectified?
said lower, they take lower births purposely for rectification. So how does it help in rectification, Prabhu?
So rectification in the sense like that's what in the case of Bharat Maharaj also we can see. So when he is in the form of a deer, okay, that's a lower form of life, correct? So he was very much because he was very much lamenting, right? So I mean
His Mataji's question is the Goswamis who have done the mistakes or like committed sins, so taking birth in the dham as a lower forms of happiness. Is that your question, Mataji? How will they rectify that?
Yes, Prabhu. They purposely took for rectification, you said, Prabhu. So I didn't understand that point, Prabhu.
So see, I think the taking birth as a lower life itself is a purification. It's a austerity, right? So, correct, man. It's an austerity to have a life of a lower animal. Correct?
Okay.
So just like Nalakvera, Manigriva, they were given the form of a trees, correct?
Mm.
So because in that life they will develop that repentance, why I have committed that mistake and all those kind of thing automatically come. So when the repentance comes, automatically the rectification also will be done.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you,
Yeah,
Prabhu.
that is my understanding. Yeah. So probably if some other devotees can like to share now.
Thanks,
Also,
Prabhu.
they will be in the dham, so they keep hearing the holy names and holy.
Correct. Yes. So in that case, correct. Yes, Prabhu. That's wonderful point.
Okay, Prabhu.
Sorry
Thank
for
you.
for adding it.
That's a really Prabhu. That's a great point.
Prabhu, one request to Venkatramana Prabhu. He can post his summary somewhere so that we can read every now and then, Prabhu. Short summary. It's a wonderful summaries, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare
No,
Krishna.
Mother, it is a mix of all three languages, which I use Telugu, English, and Sanskrit. So it is difficult to understand. Sorry, Mother. So, and also, please, I mean, it is for my purification that I can, if I want to note down, then only I can hear attentively. Otherwise, I cannot hear. So it is for my
Don't
reference.
use Google